I was just speaking with a client who's looking to get access to an SBA loan for their business. Now, if you've never tried to get access to an SBA loan, then you don't know how many hoops you have to jump through, or at least what they look for. And if you have tried to get an SBA loan, then you do know how many hoops you have to jump through. But I'm going to share with you what this client and I were going back and forth on, which is what we're ultimately looking to help them build out, which is they're looking to get SBA funding. Now, this is a good option for you if you are either in real estate, or if you are looking to buy a business, or if you're looking to invest that capital back into your operations. There's microloans, which you could typically get if your business is under 2 years old. And then you also have the more common one, which is the SBA 7A loan, which at the time of this recording goes up to right around $5 million, give or take. Now, the focal point of the conversation that I was having with this client was the following. We need to focus on building out your FICO SBSS score. Now, if you have no idea what the FICO SBSS score, this is going to be the score that the SBA, when the lenders go to pull the business's credit and the personal credit, that they're going to use to determine whether or not your business gets approved for an SBA type of product, especially if you're looking to go past that 50K mark, which is where typically microloans stop at, right around 50K. Now, there's a time and place for us to build out our personal credit, because obviously you want to have a 650 or higher, especially if we are looking to go into the land of SBA products. And then on the business credit score side, you don't just want to look at your paydex, and you don't just want to look at your basic scores like your vendor accounts. We want to take a look at the financial type of accounts, or those financial scores. And IntelliScore is a pretty good model that does that. The reason why this is because the FICO SBSS score is a blend between your personal credit as the business owner, or as the owner of that entity that you're looking to get SBA funding for. And it's also a blend, or merge, I should say, of the business credit score. So it brings both together, and it ranges from 1 to 300. Right now, and again, these numbers are subject to change. I'm just giving you the data that I just finished going over with this client. We're seeing anywhere between a 145 to a 150 and up on that score. That's actually causing business owners to get approved for SBA funding. Anything under that, it's not going to be an automatic denial, but you're going to have to jump through so many more hoops if you don't have that dialed in. So I'm going to give you 2, maybe 3 different things that you can take a look at when you're looking to build that FICO SBSS score. Number one is you want to monitor it. So you can take a look at something as simple as like a NAV account. They're going to give you a nice back of the napkin score, kind of like what you would see with Credit Karma. You just want to establish baseline. That's all we're doing here, because if you have no gauge of what your score is, then you don't know what the heck to look for. So that'll be the first place. The second thing that you would want to look at is, what is your personal credit score? Is it above a 730? And then what is your business credit score? And if we're looking at more so on the IntelliScore side, because most of us have that, especially if you're using NAV, is it above at least 80? Now, there's a couple more things that go into the score, but if your score is under 100 points on the FICO SBSS side, and both of those 2 scores are dialed in, we then have to take a look at maybe something else. So let's go a little bit deeper. And that's what the focal point of the conversation with this client was. I said, hey, your personal credit scores are on point. Your business credit scores and the ratings are pretty good as well. Why is it that the FICO SBSS score is a little bit lower? So upon further digging, we pulled up the business credit reports. We pulled up the personal credit reports. We ran it through a full audit. And it turns out that there was some information about the business and about him, the business owner, that isn't what was actually supposed to be listed, I should say, just to keep things simple, on the business. And so don't want to go divulge too much of their personal data, but one of the things that we looked at was the business address. That was a big one. The personal address for the business owner, not just the business. The classification of the business. There was a couple of spots on their business credit reports where they had different registrations of classifications for the business. One had them for plumbing, the other one had them for a restaurant, the other one had them for e-commerce. Even though a lot of their traffic for their business came from online, they weren't that, they were plumbing. And so we said, hey, if you're in plumbing and this is how the business is structured, we have to go back into the business credit report and clean that, which obviously is what we're working with them on. But there was one more thing that I wanted to mention that was on the business credit report, and that was the following. The revenue of the business was non-existent. And so if we went on the Dun & Bradstreet business credit report, it had a 0 on there. And one of the things that we like to do with our clients is we want to make sure that we control the data that we feed the business credit bureaus. Similarly to if you've ever cleaned your personal credit, then you know that you just want to have possibly one name, which is your name, one address, one phone number, one employer, and you want to control as much of the data that gets fed into the personal credit bureaus. We're trying to do the same thing. We're trying to emulate that on the business credit reporting side. And the biggest factor, or the biggest reason why that is because that factors into the FICO SBSS score. So if you have a revenue that's marking at 0, but you've been in business for, let's say, 5 years, it doesn't look like you're running a profitable business, even though you have good personal credit scores and good business credit scores, just simply from paying your stuff on time. That information isn't congruent. We talk a lot about congruency on this channel. And whenever I'm talking to clients, we talk a lot about congruency, making sure that all of that data is telling the right story. So those are some quick changes and some quick data points that I wanted to give you. Hopefully you're able to utilize that and take a look at your own personal credit profile, your own business credit profile, and take a look at, okay, what are the gaps that I need to address right now so that I can increase my FICO SBSS score. If you need help with any of this, and if you want us to take a look at your business, see where you're at, where you're looking to go, and see if what we have going on over here is a good fit for you, just go ahead and book a call down below, InsideInnerCircle.com.